While the AutoPTT application does its best to explain things with its help text, sometimes it's best to see how the settings work in a video format. In this video, we'll go through all the settings and see what they do. Let's start by going over the activation modes. The voice activity mode turns push-to-talk into voice activation by pressing and releasing the push-to-talk key for you. The basic idea is that the key is pressed when the sound level, indicated by the current value, is over the activation threshold and released when it goes below that. A separate deactivation threshold can also be enabled. Like the name suggests, it does not affect the activation, that is, the key press, but it does affect the key release, which will only happen once the sound level is below both the activation and the deactivation thresholds. If you have a tendency to start speaking relatively loudly and then trail off, using this can help prevent the mic from getting cut off too soon. Finally, the release delay keeps the key pressed for a time even after the sound level drops below the threshold. The tap mode is a mix of voice activation and push-to-talk. It won't automatically activate, you need to press the key, but after the key is released, it will stay active as if you were in the voice activity mode. The tap mode includes another setting, the activation window. It is the time the mic stays active after releasing the push-to-talk key and the sound level is still under the activation threshold. The push-to-talk mode is just what you'd expect. AutoPTT will not press the push-to-talk key for you. Well, not unless you set up a secondary push-to-talk key and press that, which will actually cause the main push-to-talk key to be pressed. Even if you don't need AutoPTT to manage your push-to-talk key for you, it can still help you in other ways. For example, by playing sound effects or showing the push-to-talk key state using the overlay, which we'll go over a bit later. The open mic to tap and open mic to push-to-talk modes work by muting and unmuting the mic system-wide. When your game or app only supports voice activation or open mic and you prefer to use push-to-talk or tap, these modes are for you. The consume push-to-talk key setting is specific to these two modes. If enabled, AutoPTT will prevent the key press and release from being seen by the system. The reason you might want to use this is if you're playing a game on a controller but still have push-to-talk bound to a keyboard key and want to prevent the game from switching the keyboard and mouse every time you press the key. The capture mode setting determines how AutoPTT detects the sound from your mic. Peak meter is a lightweight approach that doesn't actually record any audio. It just asks Windows for the current sound level. However, it may not work in all situations, such as when you're using a soundboard app to play audio through your mic. That's when you should use the audio stream option, which does in fact record audio from the mic. The save setting, when enabled, tries to ensure the push-to-talk key doesn't stay active for any reason when it's not supposed to, by periodically sending a key release event when the mic isn't active and you're in the voice activity, tap, or push-to-talk mode. You will most likely not need it, but it's there just the same. AutoPTT also comes with an overlay that you can use to keep track of the current state of your mic. It can be very compact, just the icon, or it can also show both the current activation mode and the active push-to-talk keys. And if you only want to see the overlay when the mic is active or muted system-wide, then you can do that too by unchecking Show when inactive. The overlay can, of course, be moved around as well. The name is used in the overlay when the Show Push-to-Talk Key Name setting is enabled. If the field is left blank, the keybind itself is shown instead. The push-to-talk key is the key that AutoPTT monitors and/or manages for you, depending on the activation mode. Unlike all the other hotkeys, it only supports keyboard keys and mouse buttons, not game controllers. The push-to-mute key is a key that, when pressed, forces the push-to-talk key into an inactive state, which causes it to be released. And in either of the open mic modes, it also mutes the mic system-wide. Conversely, the secondary push-to-talk key can be used to force the push-to-talk key into an active state. The key is only monitored, not controlled by AutoPTT. More push-to-talk keys can be added by clicking the Add Push-to-Talk Key button, and their order can also be changed by using the arrows. Currently, the order of the keys only affects the order in which they appear on the overlay when the Show Push-to-Talk Key Name setting is enabled. By the way, all hotkeys in AutoPTT support any kinds of key combinations. Basically, any key can be a modifier. In the Other Keys section, you'll find the Push-to-Mute Global and the Toggle Mute Global hotkeys, which, when used, mute and unmute the mic system-wide. They can be used in any activation mode, but you'll probably want to use them in the push-to-talk mode, because AutoPTT does not manage the push-to-talk key in that mode, and the mic is never muted system-wide unless one of these hotkeys is pressed. The rest of the hotkeys here are for switching between different activation modes, but most notably, the Mode PTT/Voice hotkey can be used for toggle mute in the voice activity mode, since switching to the push-to-talk mode stops AutoPTT from managing the push-to-talk key automatically, essentially muting it. Finally, AutoPTT has a number of options for sound effects. Most of them have defaults, but you can also change them to something else. And that concludes the tour. I hope it was useful.